Picture a Hadza forager in Tanzania, covering 7 miles a day on foot across open bush, digging tubers out of hard ground, climbing trees for honey, tracking animals for hours. Now picture you, walking from your desk to the fridge and back. Every intuition says the forager is burning drastically more energy than you are, day after day, year after year. Now picture the number scientists actually got when they measured it. Not double, not even close to double, nearly identical to yours. So if a body doing that much more physical work isn't spending more total energy, where is all that extra effort actually going? Let's start with how you even measure something like this, because the method is what makes the finding trustworthy. In 2012, anthropologist Herman Pontzer, then at Hunter College, and the colleagues published a study in PLOS 1 called Hunter-Gatherer Energetics and Human Obesity. They measured total daily energy expenditure in 30 Hadza adults, 13 men and 17 women, ranging from 18 into their 70s, using something called doubly-labeled water. Here's the plain English version. Participants drink water made with two rare, safe isotopes, one that leaves the body through water loss and one that leaves through both water loss and breathing out carbon dioxide. Track the difference in how fast each one disappears from urine samples over an 11-day window, and you can calculate how many calories a person burned during ordinary daily life. Not in a lab, not on a treadmill, just living. It's considered the gold standard field method precisely because it captures real behavior instead of a simulated one. The Hadza in that study were dramatically more physically active than a typical Western adult. Hadza men walked an average of 11 kilometers a day, women just under 6. Separate accelerometer work by David Raichlen and colleagues, published in the American Journal of Human Biology in 2017, found Hadza adults get well over 2 hours of moderate to vigorous physical activity a day. Roughly as much in a single day as U.S. public health guidelines ask of you in an entire week. By simple logic, their total daily calorie burn should have been far higher. It wasn't. Hadza men averaged about 2,600 calories a day, and Hadza women about 1,900, thus squarely inside the range you'd expect from Western adults of the same size. Once Pontzer's team controlled for fat-free mass and age, Hadza energy expenditure was statistically indistinguishable from that of Western men and women. The cost of walking and the cost of resting came out similar between the groups too. If this were a single unusual result, you could wave it away. It isn't. In 2016, Pontzer and colleagues published a study in Current Biology called Constrained-Total-Energy-Expenditure and Metabolic Adaptation to Physical Activity in Adult Humans, tracking activity and energy expenditure across hundreds of adults on multiple continents. The relationship between how much people moved and how much they burned wasn't a straight line. It bent and then flattened. The pattern repeats. Past a certain point, doing more physical activity doesn't add proportionally to your daily total. The body appears to defend a budget and compensate elsewhere, rather than simply stacking activity calories on top of baseline calories the way a car burns proportionally more gas the harder you drive it. So here's the shape of it so far. Doubly labeled water lets researchers measure real total daily energy expenditure outside a lab. Pontzer's 2012 Hadza study found that total expenditure nearly matched Western adults despite dramatically higher activity levels, and a larger 2016 cross-continental study found the same flattening. The body seems to hold total daily energy spending inside a fairly narrow, constrained range rather than adding it up activity by activity. Now, some of you are already thinking, so exercise doesn't matter? If moving more doesn't burn more, what's the point? That's the wrong conclusion to draw, and here's the harder evidence for why. The Hadza in Pontzer's data aren't just more active than Western adults, they're markedly leaner. Average body mass index came out around 21 for both sexes, with body fat near 16% in men and 24% in women, the lean end of the healthy Western range. Raichlen's group found Hadza adults show essentially none of the standard risk markers for cardiovascular disease. But if total calories burned were roughly the same as yours, that leanness can't be coming from the burn side. It's coming from the food side. less calorie-dense food, less of it available on demand, no environment engineered to make overeating effortless. But the more interesting part is what a constrained energy budget implies about exercise itself. If your body isn't simply adding activity calories to a running total, it has to be taking that energy from somewhere else to stay inside its budget. Pontzer laid this out directly in a 2018 paper in Physiology titled Energy Constraint as a Novel Mechanism Linking Exercise and Health. When activity climbs, the body scales back spending on things like chronic low-grade inflammation, elevated stress hormone activity, and excess reproductive hormone signaling. Processes that, left running hot, are linked to heart disease, certain cancers, and general wear on the body over time. Exercise in this reading isn't protective because it torches extra calories. It's protective because of what your body chooses to spend less on instead, to make room for the movement. You treat a hard workout as a calorie ledger. Burn more here, eat more there, balance the books. A Hadza forager's body treats a day of walking and digging the same way it treats a day of rest, staying inside roughly the same total budget either way. You assume more movement means more total energy spent. The measured data says total daily expenditure is far more fixed than that, across activity levels that differ by a huge margin. You assume the Hadza stay lean because they outburn their food. The honest read is they stay lean because of what they eat and how much of it is available, not because their bodies are furnace-hot machines. Exercise is a weak lever for creating a calorie deficit and a strong lever for everything else your long-term health depends on. Not because it makes your body spend more, but because of what it makes your body stop spending on.